work with oil paintings and canvases and different types of mediums, really, and really, really honing it down. And yeah, I think is one of the things that really lacks within the photography industry.
Workflows is a podcast about saving you time and money in your photography business. As a photographer and content creator who struggles with dyslexia, color blindness, introversion, and anxiety stemming from years of being bullied as a child, workflows have been my rock. I have workflows for every aspect of my life, and that's why I'm so happy to bring you Workflows, a podcast presented by Imagen. As a company dedicated to saving you time and money in your photography business, it makes sense to enhance and expand the conversation to all things workflows. Tune in and subscribe to hear stories, strategies, and tools that could be your rock. Hear from people just like you. Put the camera down for a little, connect the headphones, and get to work with Workflows. Get in on the conversation by joining the Imagen community today. Imagine the possibilities. Igor Demba has been in business for over 10 years and truly believes he has the best job in the world. He was born in Portugal, and after living and traveling all over the world, he picked up bits and pieces of each culture, and that inspires him to keep pushing his work creatively. Recently, he has been named top wedding photographer in the world by Harper's Bazaar, which really excited his mom. He's currently based in Peterborough, England. He's married to the wonderful Zion, and they have 2 beautiful daughters. Without further ado, let's get to my conversation with Igor. Well, hello, Igor. How's it going?
Very good, Scott. How are you?
Good. I'm glad we're able to connect and do this. We're on very different parts of the earth, and that's very exciting.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. US. You are in the US, aren't you?
Yes, I am I am in the US. We're not too far from each other, really.
Yeah.
But still, it's fun.
Yes, indeed. So US means the UK, and here we are.
Now, I have to ask, is your plant real? Because the plants that I have in my office are not real.
I've been asked this before. This one specifically, no.
Right. Nice.
No, it's not. All the ones I have all over the house, yes, they are. But this one specifically, no. Literally, to have plants here and surviving, it's quite hard. Especially with the light and having to control the light and everything else. So yeah. But whereas in the rest of the house, yes.
Nice. I have a bonsai. Let's see. I've got a bonsai. I don't even know where is it right now. It's up. It's up top. It's actually.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. And I can see it with the bouquet.
Yeah. So that is totally fake. If I was in my dungeon recording and I had a real bonsai, it would not survive. So
no. But cactuses are absolutely brilliant for that, to be fair. We've got massive cactuses and I absolutely love them. I love my plants, but yeah, to have them in this office, no. But cactuses, we've got them all over the house, and they're
survival
proof.
Yes. I would not trust my 4-year-old around a cactus, though. I know that he'd be going to grab it every 2 seconds. So, okay. So my first question I have for you is one that I ask every guest, and that is, what is one thing that you do for the photographic process that has saved you time? The part behind the camera. What is one thing that you do during that process that has saved you time?
Wow. Great question. I'll probably say really know my gear. I really, really know my gear. I'm quite proud of that. I'm able to very much blindly work my way around it and really know it. So it means that I am really fast when it comes to shooting and quite intuitive. So and most of the times I shoot with natural light, and that's constantly changing. So So yes, really knowing your gear, it's a massive one. Having a specific style and aesthetic and choosing it and going down that path really, really helps, because you're very much able to have your blinders on and just keeping true to yourself, keeping true to your style and the things that you gravitate towards. If you feel like you should be shooting in your gut, just go for it. Because so many times as photographers, we see something and you very much, especially as wedding photographers, you very much think, oh, I've got time to shoot that later when the lights perhaps is better. And actually going for it and shooting it straight away, yeah. The amount of times that sometimes when I started my career, I've missed shots because of that. So yeah, that's one of the big things of the process. But the other one, I would say, is just being ruthless with your editing. Literally, don't mess around with it. Yeah. Don't be so precious about it.
Well, so we're going to get to editing. We're going to get to editing for sure. We're going to go through a whole bunch of different.
I'm jumping.
Oh yeah. Well, let's step back to the know your gear, right? So, are you the type of photographer that customizes like the buttons, right? So a lot of them 100%. Newer cameras, they've got all these different buttons you can customize. So being able to control what one single button does could actually change how you work completely. Right?
It really does. It really does.
So can you tell me about like what's one button that you change on your camera, and like where is it in like its top? Is it behind? Is it in front? And what does it do for you?
Yes. So I'll probably say the formats really, because especially throughout the pandemic, I've been shooting a lot more video, just not photography really. So just having those video settings literally nailed down, literally the C1 would be for photography, C2 would be for video at just 4K, and C2 would be for perhaps C3 would be perhaps for a slower frame rate really, so 120 FPS, which just means that everything's just nice and smooth and slow and quite dreamy. And so those three, just them by themselves, they're lifesavers really, because you're able to quickly shoot your shots that you need to shoot. And then if you feel like, yeah, I've got a bit more time here, change it to C3. This is quite dreamy. Yeah, shoot it that way. And then as well, having certain settings for back button focus, I tend to do that. Yeah. And yeah, there's different ways of doing it now, especially I'm a Canon shooter. And Canon has been a bit slow really in terms of getting this down, but I think it's the new R6 II really now has got a toggle just literally between photo and video, and that's been seen as a game changer within the industry. But I'm sure that Sony and Fuji probably done it already. From my Nikon, I saw you use a Nikon Z7. Z7 II and the Nikon Z7 VI, which is what I'm recording right now with the for the podcast, and they both have a quick toggle. It actually is around. It's a toggle that goes around the back autofocus button. So it's really close. Yeah,
it's really close. Super easy to flip between the two. Yeah,
you don't even need to take the viewfinder off of your face or anything like that. Right. And just go straight.
Yeah. It is cool. Like once you start learning your camera is the back of your hand, how much it really just changes your process and just makes things.
It really does.
Yeah.
And that only comes with practice, shooting. Yeah. Doing a lot of personal work besides the professional work that people do. So and you learn what you like, and when you learn what you don't like, really, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. So moving on to the business side of things, what is one thing that you do for your business that has saved you either time or money?
That's a good one. I guess, especially being a wedding photographer, and I guess within any business really, streamlining things, having automated, let's say, templates for emails and stuff like that. Just streamlining things, just finding ways of actually shortening whatever needs to be done. It's massive really, because it's repeat tasks that you're constantly doing. So to be able to streamline those and just simply one click of a button, you're able to literally have a whole automated chain that a client would receive, rather than actually having to type every single thing. And then, yeah, the same goes for invoices and having those automated things within your business. They're crucial, really, because it's time that you could be doing something else, like shooting or spending time with your family, whatever else it is, really. So yeah. But at the same time, I would say as well, which has been a massive game changer for me over the past sort of like 6 months. Hiring people for let's say social media. Not my photography business, but another business that I'm running with a great partner. So just hiring someone to do social media, like our business wouldn't have been as good as it is today, or as fast growing as it is today, if we hadn't hired that person. So shout out to Merla, because she's amazing and doing marketing stuff, and not just social media but marketing stuff as well. Yeah, that's incredible, really. Yeah.
Just because you might know what to do on social media or might know what to do with emails or with other marketing doesn't mean you should do it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You could be focusing on things that are more in your sweet spot, more thing, and even more important, things that you love doing the most instead of doing the other stuff.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. And it's so hard to let go as well, especially when you do know those things, and you might think, oh, that's certain someone, they might know how to do things better than me, but they perhaps will not translate my voice as I would want to, or perhaps they're not as good as me, and me having to sacrifice that extra 20% or 10% that I would be able to create with that post. Yeah, it's very much learning how to let go. I found it, but it's a massive thing. It's a game changer.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right. So you brought this up a little earlier ago. Let's talk about, and it doesn't have to be, this doesn't have to be Imagen, because we're going to get to Imagen, because you are an Imagen user as well. But what is one thing that you do for editing that has saved you time?
I think, yes, very much studying edits around our industry. I think has been massive, really, because I like to consider myself quite well-rounded in terms of my edits. Yes, I've got very specific style, but I would be able to sort of like see an image or see a specific edit and sort of like think, yeah, I could get to that if I needed to get to it, if that makes sense. So it just gives you a good idea, or a strong visual language, really, because you learn what you like and you learn very much what you don't like. So to be able to very much break down and study other people's images, I think it's massive. Photographers, they don't do it enough. And we see sort of like Renaissance artists and everything else very much being studied and studying themselves how to become great artists, and how to work with oil paintings and canvases and different types of mediums, really, and really, really honing it down. And yeah, I think is one of the things that really lacks within the photography industry, being able to really study other artists, other photographers, and sort of like just break it down. What happened here? What happened to the shadows here? Why is this tint here? And how can I get that? So yeah, that's really important.
What is one photographer who's editing? Obviously, this could be somebody who's long past. What's one photographer that has really impacted you as a photographer with their aesthetics of their edits or their final photos?
Yes, there's massive ones. Rodney Smith, just simply because of his aesthetic, it's incredible. He sees things in such a beautiful way and organizes them within the image in such a beautiful way. It feels dreamy, but at the same time it feels balanced. It doesn't feel forced. So I really like his style. Sebastian Salgado, he's absolutely incredible. He's a Brazilian nature photographer, his work is just incredible. If you don't know him, just go and Google him, because particularly his black and whites, they're really, really incredible. And there's a lot of depth and richness to that, which in some ways I try to emulate in my work. And then if we go into sort of like the wedding photography industry, I could spend here all day really talking about certain photographers. But obviously, I'll go for the obvious ones, because it makes sense really. But Fair Huristi, he's incredible, and he's got a very specific style. You see his images, or you see his image a mile away, and you know it's his work. And again,
it's funny timing about that. So as you might be aware, Fur is one of our talent AI profiles.
Yes, I do.
Today, obviously this episode is not going out until December 1st. However, today we're recording this on November 14th. Today we are actually publishing a video on our YouTube channel where Fur specifically talks about his editing style. For
That's it. That's
5 minutes and 32 seconds to be exact.
That is very precise.
So once we hop off, I actually have to get that published. So yeah, check it out later.
Yes, I will. I definitely will, because he's someone that I very much admire from afar. At the beginning stages of my career, and then ended up meeting him and becoming really good friends. And yeah, his work is incredible, and when you know the human as well behind it, it's even easier to fall in love with his work. But yeah, I think that he has very much stayed true to himself through the different stages of his career, and you can see the evolution of his work and his images. But at the same time, it's just he has very much kept on his lane, if that makes sense, and I think that's what I was trying to say beforehand, in terms of like knowing your editing style and very much sticking to it, knowing your aesthetics and very much running with it. And people will very much, the more you do it, the stronger you'll get at it, and people will very much start associating those specific images with you and your work, really. Yeah.
Awesome. So I have one more question for you before we go into this fun thing that you don't even know what's about to come, because so my next question is, what is one thing you do after a session that has increased business?
Ooh, that's really good. Okay, I think that, let's not include just a session, but a wedding, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
And I think that, this goes to anyone really, even if it is a session really. Once I send out a preview, I just don't simply send it to the couple or to whoever is involved, but I'll send it to literally everybody that's involved within the shoot. And this is obviously with the permission of the couple or the client. And yeah, I find that this one thing has changed, not just simply the business, but in some ways, how much I earn in terms of like downloads and prints, and just people sharing my work in general online. I find that as photographers, we can be very much precious about our images, but at the same time, especially when it comes to wedding, you've got a multitude of people working on this wedding, working on for this client, and really all of us trying to create this dream for our client really. And yeah, without them I wouldn't have those images really. So I very much make it a point to as soon as the wedding or the session is finished, to really send out that, not just to client but to everyone involved really.
So if it's a wedding, you're talking like the bridal party, for example, the parents of the couple,
yes,
anybody,
but also the suppliers, the wedding planner, the florist, right. And yes,
that's where I was going next. I was wondering, like the band, the DJ.
Yes, 100%.
That's a lot 100%. That's a lot of potential reach if they wind up saying, "Oh, I want this for my website," then they can buy it from you for that.
Yes, so that's it. And I make sure I speak to literally everybody on a wedding day, really. Because yes, I'm there to capture, but at the same time, I'm there to grow my business. Yeah. And I'll have on my notes, literally everybody's emails, everybody's handles, as the day goes on, just typing and collecting all that from people. and people remember you for that. Really, people appreciate that sort of like effort and see it. Really, I think just approaching things from a not just a business level, but from a human level of the fact that sharing is caring. Really, so yeah, it really goes a long way.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. I love that answer. That's so good. If you were at the park while your kids are playing, take a moment to think about your next business task. Is it something you can do while Imagen edits your photos? Let us know by sharing in the Imagen community. We're going to go to something fun that I've never done before on the podcast before we dive into what's a very deep question. So we're gonna lighten things up with something fun before we get into something that's going to make you really think. So, if you are listening to this podcast, I am currently holding up 2 decks of cards. They are blurry right now, but
that's okay. It's okay.
Pick a color.
One's green, one's orange. I'll go for orange.
Orange. Okay. All right. Okay. I have the deck of orange cards. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me when to stop.
Go.
Okay. Okay. These decks of cards have random questions on them. Are you ready for a completely random question that you just picked?
Hit me. I'm ready.
All right. The question is, what is something you don't mind paying more money for?
Ooh, that's a very good question. What is something that I don't mind paying more money for?
Mm-hmm.
A really good meal. Yeah, 100%. I'm a foodie.
I'm right there with you.
I'm a foodie to a T, really, and yeah. And when it comes to food, I'd rather much have an experience than just literally sitting down, eating it, and walking away, if that makes sense. So, so yeah, even in here, yeah, you make me think now, because even here in the house, I'm the cook in the house, really, and I'm very much like, I'd rather cook a really good meal, sit down and enjoy it, rather than make something quick. So yeah, the same would apply for money, really. I'd rather much spend a good amount of money on something that would be really nice and experience. So yeah, I don't mind paying, spending more money for good meal. Yeah.
So on that note, what is your favorite meal to eat and or cook? Because it could be the same.
This is really hard. It's like picking a favorite child.
I know, right? To me, I always say, I always come back to tacos because that kind of covers, like, could be any type of taco. Like,
yes.
You know?
Tacos is a good choice. It is a good choice.
It is.
I won't choose a specific meal, but I'll choose a specific cuisine, which usually tends to be Chinese and Thai. They're both very different. Thai is more aromatic. Chinese can be quite, let's say, sweet and hot, really. But yeah, Chinese and Thai, really. Asiatic foods, they always get me, and they're always so fun to cook. And it takes a long time, a really long time. There's a lot of a process to it.
Right.
So yeah, I love that, really. But
awesome.
Yeah, that's why I love cooking in some ways as well, because it gets that one part of my brain that I really, in some ways, don't have to think about. I'm using my hands. I don't really have to think about what I'm seeing. Yeah, it's quite intuitive for me. So yeah.
Yeah. You also get to experiment.
Yes.
A lot, which is fun. My wife doesn't like when I experiment, but I like to experiment.
Likewise here. Likewise.
Okay. So we got past this fun question because now I'm about to ask you a question. Thanks. I'm glad you liked it. I'm going to ask you if you can look at your business from a 30,000-foot view down. If you can share an outlined breakdown of your workflow from lead to delivery.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
How long have you got?
You don't have to go into too much detail. Just an overview. It's just everybody like
Yeah.
It's the fun part. You know, I've asked you these specific questions, and now you're about to tell me something that's probably going to trigger other thoughts about those previous questions that you didn't originally think about.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. And it is happening already as I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I guess from an inquiry, I try to keep things quite personal, really, and let the numbers and the professionalism of like my brochure that is very much online rather than a PDF. I find that just being interactive and clients being able to, you're just able to convey a lot more, really, besides a PDF, really, because I'm able to include videos and people can see my life, my family. It's got my portfolio in a slideshow that very much in a short amount of time, bam, 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 it really hits people in the face with my work and they really get to know it. So yeah, from there, usually we get talking about what their priorities are, and hopefully they book. If they don't book, I usually tend to ask why they didn't book, in the sense of usually tends to be budget. And if that's the case, I tend to send them. I still find that there's good potential there. There's still good. What word could I say? There's still juice from the lemon to be squeezed, really. There's still some drops there of good things that you can cultivate in terms of relationships. So I tend to send it to other photographers that perhaps maybe a specific budget. So I always ask them for the budget, because that way I know exactly what I'm dealing with, and when I send it off to a good friend or someone that may be a lower budget, the couple really very much feel served, and at the same time whoever I'm referring to feels served as well. And yeah, those referrals come back as well. So whilst it's a client that I'm not going to shoot, it might be down the line a wedding that I will get back from that referred photographer, really. So yeah, I find that one has really helped my business over the years. You just build a good network, really. You just build a good network with people, and yes, just because it's a no for me, it doesn't necessarily mean that it can't be a yes to someone within my circle. From then, yes, meet the couple. Always online these days. It tends to never happen in person, really, because I tend to shoot a lot of destination weddings, and yeah, location just simply doesn't allow it, really. So yeah, literally 90% of that would be through Zoom or wherever else it is. And yeah, I find that I really connect with couples that way. Just asking questions, being quite nosy in the sense of what they do, what they love, about the idea of their wedding, what they don't like, and how they're finding this whole idea of organizing the wedding. And yeah, just get to the nitty-gritties of it, really. And then the streamlined process sort of like begins, really, in terms of like everything else from there tends to be automated in terms of like emails, keeping in touch. So gets to the wedding day, and we very much know where we stand. The expectations have been set, and yeah, I feel like sometimes photographers very much shoot themselves in the foot in terms of having couples that don't necessarily know how's it going to be with Igor photographing me, and what do I do with my hands and everything else. But by the time it gets to the wedding, couples already know that my approach is very relaxed. I've sent some tips already, like if I'm not saying anything whilst we're shooting, that means that I'm really getting what I want from you guys, so do not worry. And yes, it comes with encouragements and everything else, but things like that would just really help the couple or the client know that they're in safe hands, because most of the times people feeling awkward about having a camera in front of them usually comes from not knowing what to expect, really, not knowing how to act. So that has already been established way past. So yeah, most of the times I do ask and that's the answer, but I do describe it very much as having me at your wedding is very much like having a good friend photograph your wedding that just simply happens to be badass with his camera and images. So yeah. Then it comes to delivery. So literally a couple of days, if not a day, the day after, I will send a preview, and Imagen has very much changed that. So we'll go into that afterwards.
Yep.
And and yes, sometimes it used to take a lot longer, especially if it's destination weddings that are sort of like 3-4 days, not just one. And usually with the previews, I try to incorporate a good sense of the whole day, and not just a couple portraits that they can send to family, but yes, a good idea of the whole day. And not just for the couple, it goes back to that idea of literally sending things to the suppliers. Just think of who's going to be viewing this gallery and try to cover things in a rounded way as possible, really. So there'll probably be around 100 images for the preview, which is quite a lot. But again, it just shows a good idea of what they can expect, really. And yes, then usually it tends to be, I tend to say to couples that they'll receive their images 2 to 3 months after the wedding, really. And sometimes I hang. I like to edit as soon as I can, but sometimes I just tend to wait, because it just creates that anticipation, really, for the couple of receiving the images. And I very much drip feed it. And again, that comes, it's all automated. I used to the apps that I use in terms of the galleries and everything else, they do an amazing job. I was just kind of like drip feeding the images to the couple. And yeah, when it comes to delivery, because it's been such a sort of like continuous momentum of expectation rising all the way through from the beginning to end, by the time they receive their images in galleries, it's happy days, really. So yeah. And then you get other scripted emails that come through afterwards with that. But I think, yes, it's the beginning for me. The beginning for me, it's when the hard work really starts. That's when I'm mostly involved. And afterwards, it becomes a bit more scripted in terms of the emails and everything else that happens. But yeah, that's why you gotta have the automation within your business, really, because today, after many mistakes and many lessons learned, you just learn that having things effective and quick just really helps. Speed really helps. So yeah,
that's for sure. Well done. It's hard to look at your business from like that perspective and really like,
yeah. And I'm sure I missed things.
Oh, of course. Yeah. But the cool part is now, like, everybody who is listening to this gets to know your reasons behind things. They get to know you deeper, even though it's all about workflow. It gets to know what goes on in your head, which is really fun. It's really fun.
Yes.
So, okay. So, AI, right? Imagen is an AI software company. And you are using Imagen, which is fantastic, and we love the fact that you're utilizing it in your business. But what does the future of AI in photography look like to you?
Such a good question. I have a podcast with a really good friend, and literally our last guest was a software developer, and we asked him that question, and I went down the route of Skynet. Obviously, eventually we'll be taken over by machines, and humans won't be needed. But that is very, very much, I do believe that, but that is very much way back into the future. Or forward, let's say. But no, I think that AI, it's a way forward. It very much is a way forward for photography and for the creative artists, really, because it's allowing, especially the artists that are very much plugged in to what's happening in the industry, it's allowing time for them to very much be creative in perhaps other parts that they wouldn't normally. And I think that that's a win. If you're gaining back time, that's a complete win, really. At the same time, I think that there is a massive danger of someone perhaps coming into the industry and not knowing much about, because I'm a as I said before, I'm a very much a stickler for knowing your craft and knowing how to edit and edit well, and refining things and having your own individual style. And I think that the danger that can be on the flip side of the coin of the benefits of it is the fact that someone can come into the industry not knowing much about it and just going straight away into a software and sort of like bloop, 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 done, and they have something that perhaps is not something that they've worked and developed themselves and developed that visual eye, if that makes sense. So I think that it has its dangers, but at the same time, it's absolutely incredible for what it's offering for the people that are using it well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that what excites me about it, and I joke about Skynet, but what excites me about it is is the simple fact that the options are endless. The options are really endless to what can become automated, to what can actually become easier and streamlined within your business, really. So you can focus on other things like your family, or focus on other things within your business that are perhaps artistic and you're not able to do. Focus on personal projects that you really, really are itching to get forward, and those sort of personal projects usually tend to very much inform, at least for me, those personal projects tend to inform very much my business and my style, and it just grows really because of that. So yes, I find it very exciting, and I think that AI is here to stay, very much so, and only grow more and more. Yeah.
While you were talking, I was thinking about these new. I mean, I guess they're not too new anymore, but the text to image generators that exist in the AI space now, right?
Yes,
and there's a lot of people who are concerned of, okay, they're getting so realistic, they're going to start replacing photographers soon, right? It's not there yet, but I don't think it will ever replace a person that's actually taking the pictures and stuff. But I do think those tools could be helpful for photographers. So let's say you are a fashion photographer, right? You photograph models in different sets for magazine covers or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're presented with an idea and with a subject matter, and you're having this sort of writer's block type of thing. You can't figure out what to do. You can take that description, throw it into a text AI generator, see what it gives you, and then maybe that's going to spark your creativity to then make your own set and make your own.
Very much so.
So
very much so. And
yeah.
something that I've loved seeing is, I can't remember which AI program it was, but it was one of definitely the most popular ones, and the screenwriter just literally inputted loads of different words and not created just one image, but created very much a story, probably around 30 images, and it just becomes beautiful, really, when you're able to very much tell a story that way. And again, it's a great different way of bringing creativity to someone's business, and being able to perhaps a wedding planner, having a couple that is very much creatively forward and want something really, really wacky for the wedding, for example, and to be able to input those words and actually see what happens. I reckon it's very inspirational, and being able to sort of like bring mood boards to your clients with that sort of visualization. I think it's incredible. It is incredible, really. So yeah.
I'm excited to see where it goes for sure. Okay, so you have touched on this next question in various ways throughout this episode. So now I'm just going to ask you straight up, how did Imagine impact your life?
I like the way you put it, your life as well, because it could be your business or anything like that.
Right.
It's very much my life, 100%. It just gave me so many hours, so many hours, into being able to edit my images and still stay true to my style, but being able to actually get back images so quickly, rather than going into Lightroom and sort of like command all everything and see what happens, and then you would have to very much sift through for your images a lot more in order to very much get the results that I want. I find it incredible, and initially I was actually a bit skeptical of it. I'm like, surely not. Surely I can't replicate and edit as well as me. But the reality of it is that it gets pretty damn close. It really does. And most of the times I only have to adjust certain little things. And if it is an image that I really have to focus a bit more, yes, that'll still happen, of course. But it's so much faster. It's so much quicker. And yeah, if it gives you back hours within your business in order to be able to do other things or other parts of your business that you need to sort out, why not? It just simply makes sense. It makes perfect sense for me. So yeah, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. And yeah, I can't wait to see what more you guys bring forward in terms of the development of the app, really, because it's incredible, and at the same time it's only bound to get better and better and better, really. And that's what I love about it, the fact that it is AI, and it learns your decisions a lot more. You're able to fine-tune things after you've actually edited the whole set, so you can correct it and sort of say that actually no, I would want shadows more like this rather than this. And yeah, I love that aspect of it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So where can listeners learn more about you, connect with you, and of course see your incredible photography?
It's quite easy. Igor Demba. Under all channels, literally over on that. So yeah, IGOR DEMBA, and you can find me literally anywhere that has online pulse, really. So yeah, especially on Instagram. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the conversation. Thanks for working with me on this fun.
I love it. Fun idea. I love it. What sort of type of other questions are in there? Is it sort of like, is it really random? Or...
it's some of them. Here, let's go for one from green. Okay, I'll pick a random one right now out of the green deck. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up with this question. What upcoming life event are you excited about?
Whew. I wouldn't call it a life event, but yes, I'm about to launch an editing course, and in fact, part of it within that, I've got an Imagine section that's
nice.
That is quite crucial to it. That setup, that question was just like set up magically, perfectly. Perfect. So yeah, I've got a course coming out very, very soon, within the next month. And yeah, it's called The Great Edit. It's very much on editing. As I've been chatting here, you could hopefully see that I'm very, very much passionate about editing and great aesthetics and people really finding their individual style, really. So it very much speaks on that. But at the same time, finding editing that's effective, really. And again, Imagen has been crucial for that, really. So thank you. Thank you and the rest of your team, really. That's what I should say.
Awesome. Thanks again for the chat. And hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Hopefully so. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Igor, for that fantastic conversation, for working with me on this new experiment that I just did in the show, and for sharing such valuable information for photographers listening to walk away with and truly enhance their businesses. You have been listening to Workflows, presented by Imagen. To hear more from Workflows and to find a link to our guest, please go to imagen-ai.com/podcast. Be a part of the conversation by joining the Imagen community at imagen-ai.com/community. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.